I'd love to know exactly how old he is. Over 10, probably over 20 years old. They grow a bit faster than tortoises do. Lots of movement. What is there?
A monitor.
The monitor lizard. Well spotted, VM. Awesome. Having a swim. There was a brief moment where I thought crocodile, which is not impossible, but it was unlikely. Let's go forward a bit. We'll get to see him. Hopefully we'll get to see him actually come out of the water and onto the bank. Well spotted, VM. Very well done. VM's got a monitor spotting talent, actually. Where is he? Oh, there he is. I think he's about to... Is he about to alight upon the bank?
I've lost him, you know.
He is where the green grass is on the edge of the water. Yeah, the one on the left. To the left there. There's his head. Perfect. Thank you. This is probably a water monitor lizard rather than a rock monitor. Now, that might seem really self-explanatory when you're looking at it swimming in the water, but both species are very, very at ease swimming. Although the water monitor does spend a bit more time around water, it could be either of them. In this case, though, just even from a distance, not quite as brightly coloured as a rock monitor. In South Africa, we call them legavans. From the Afrikaans legavan. Oh, there he goes. There he's going to come out. Awesome. He's a big guy. Tongue flickering. Pulling that scent in. Is he going to go back in? Definitely a water monitor. I will show you the difference in my book in a moment once we've lost him. Very prehistoric. Looking for potential prey, little fish maybe. Possibly frogs as well would definitely fall on his menu or her menu. Very difficult to tell the sex of a monitor lizard. It could also be cooling off a little bit as well on this hot day. Indecisive. Scouring. Oh, got something. What did he get? He got something. What is that? That could well be a frog. Let me try and double check with my binoculars. Could be a frog. Could also be... I've lost him now. There he is. Could have been a frog. Might even have been a mussel of some kind or a freshwater crab. Looks like a frog to me. That's exciting. Just as we were talking about what he might be searching for, he found something. I'm fairly certain it's a... Oh, he dropped it. He got it again. I'm fairly certain it's a frog looking through my binoculars. Looks like a frog. Oh. I think about repositioning and getting closer, but unfortunately I think all that will do is scare him off. We're right, and we could go around to the other side of the bank, but I don't think that's going to do us any favors. He'll just duck back into the water and hide away from us. And I also don't want to distract him from his afternoon snack, which he seems to be finishing off. In fact, I think he might even have finished it already. I definitely thought I saw a frog leg through my binoculars. Perusing the edges of a pan, a perfect place to come and hunt. They are so prehistoric looking in the way that they move. Now those tails are exceptionally powerful, which is one of the things that gives them that very easy swimming ability, very natural way of moving through the water. He's found sniffing around for something else. Also got slight webbing around their toes. Very, very slight. But that tail, having been whipped before by a monitor lizard that I was trying to catch and remove from a house, I can speak from experience, it is much stronger than it looks. They're also capable of inflicting quite serious bites. You can see the fishes splashing in front of him. Sorry, I was just listening to the Game Drive channel there. Now, Donna, I said that terrapin was particularly large, and you were wondering just how big it really was. To give you a sort of a sense of scale, I'm trying to think of a nice comparison for you, Donna. About the size of half a coconut, I don't mean a coconut like we get them when we eat them. I mean an actual coconut with the skin and everything. About half the size of that. That's such an absurd comparison. I don't know why I can't now think of anything that would be useful. Donna, I'll show you with my hands to scale in a moment, but I don't want to tear my eyes away from this monitor lizard. Half the size of a soccer ball. If you cut a soccer ball in half, that was the size of the terrapin. Let's go with that, Donna. That's probably the best comparison I can give you. I just want to see if this monitor lizard manages to catch anything else. Very clearly on a hunting mission. Investigating all the crevices and likely spots where it might find another frog or a fish or something similar. Not sure how, but Brent has somehow acquired my reptile book. I don't think it's his fault, though. I think I left it when I swapped cars. But that does mean, unfortunately, that I can't show you the difference between rock monitors and water monitors. I think we can definitely ask Brent to do that for you at some stage in his drive, since he might have it with him. But essentially, a rock monitor has much more vivid and colorful markings than this water monitor does. Fascinating animals. You can see the ear openings as he moves through the water. Those, of course, capable of opening and closing, depending on whether or not his head is submerged. He's coming slowly closer to us, and I think that's what's giving him the slightly nervous look. It's amazing. If I didn't know that he was there, if I was not looking through the camera, or looking at my monitor of this view through the camera, I would never know that he was there. It's just his head poking out, keeping a watchful eye on us. That's awesome. Cat in Florida. My binoculars are slightly better than James's. They have taken a beating over the years. They're a bit dirty. They were a gift from my dad when I first went into this guiding profession. So over time, they have collected a considerable amount of dirt, but they are an essential tool out here in order to guide properly, not just to look at the different bird species, but animals. It gives you a nice closer perspective if you want to look at injuries on animals, for example. Now, what I'm doing now, since our monitor lizard is not keen on getting any closer with us in the vicinity, is I'm looking for a nice bird track in the mud. You got some there. Is that a good position? Or should I go back a bit? Perfect. There we go. How's that? That for somebody who asked, Arlene, who asked about bird tracks, that is a lapwing track. You'll note that there's only 3 toes in front, and in fact, let me get off the vehicle so that I can demonstrate exactly what I mean. Oh, goodness, there's a storm brewing. There is definitely a storm on its way. I will just go and have a quick look. Oh, can hear how the wind is howling. The storm's coming. So Viam managed to spot these little tracks in the mud. Quite relatively thick toes, and you'll see that there's no back toe. Now, all of the birds that walk constantly on the ground don't have a back toe. So the lapwings, the dikkorps, anything like that would normally, their toe actually sits a little bit higher. So francolins are the same, and guinea fowl are the same. Now, just judging by the size and the shape of this track and the way that the toes are positioned and the length of the distance between this track, it's a bit smelly, this mud, and this track, you can see that whatever bird made it had relatively long legs to have such a long stride in the mud. There we go. Oh well, not going to do me any harm. It's just a little bit mucky. And just while I'm here, I also want to stop and have a look at this algae that is in one of the puddles. It's one of the more, it's an unusual sight. It's not completely unusual, but it's not one that we see very often. Wow. The storm is very rapidly blowing in. I wonder if we're not going to get some rain sooner than expected. There's a dip to the temperature. But this is the algae I wanted to show you. You can get very used to seeing green algae. Unfortunately, the light has changed. Oops, sorry, roll backwards a bit. The light has changed, so you can't quite see just how blood red this water is, and it's due to the red algae that is inhabiting it. Now, most plants are green because chlorophyll, the molecule that is responsible for photosynthesis, or the pigment that is responsible for photosynthesis, is green in color. There is, however, another molecule, and for the life of me I cannot remember its name, but it is red. And it is more capable of absorbing red light, or the light rays that are red in the spectrum, so the longer light rays. And that's what this algae is utilizing in this particular puddle. It's such a fascinating creature. Algae evolved, algae evolved, was it 3 billion years ago, in theory? And it actually was what gave shape to, there we go, we've actually got the color coming through relatively nice. Let me go back a little bit so that we get the tree shading it. There, you can see it looks like blood in this puddle. And algae actually changed the atmosphere. The arrival of algae changed the atmosphere in our world. Before, it had very, very much higher concentrations of carbon dioxide and slightly lower concentration of oxygen than it does now. And slowly through the gradual photosynthesis respiration process that algae goes through, it was able to gently shift the atmospheric conditions and the different percentage of the gases within the atmosphere to the point that it became possible for other forms of life to survive. And it has continued unchanged for billions of years. One of those fascinating little overarching views of the way in which life works out here. That was just one of the examples. That's a pleasure, James Richards. I always enjoy a good reptile sighting as well. I'm also hoping for a crocodile sighting one of these days. And actually, if I get to a good spot on this dam wall, he's chosen the exact point at which the dam has collapsed slightly. How's your view from there, Vian? He's still there, watching us intently. Definitely, I'm always hoping for a sighting, James, of the crocs basking in the sun. And it's always a possibility. Interesting point from Debbie. This particular reptile has a forked tongue, as do most snakes. Debbie was wondering, how does a forked, as opposed to a sort of a single tongue, help in terms of smelling? Debbie, that is a really interesting question. So the reason we have two ears, apart from the fact that we're very bilateral symmetrically, and two eyes, is it gives us a perception of depth. So the way that we see with our vision allows us, having two eyes allows us to focus and get a depth perception. The way that we hear, our brain automatically thinks about the way in which the time it's taken, even if it's just a split second for a sound to hit one ear sooner than the other, or louder in one ear and softer in the other. Forked tongue is exactly the same principle. So the concentration of smell that they get, they can pick up the minutest difference on each side of that tongue. And essentially that allows them to see, if you imagine it as seeing the smells, it allows them to see the trail that is left and get a direction of that scent. So something that is unique to reptiles and really, really interesting. Just look at this. This is amazing. And we've spoken about the fact that monitor lizards of both the rock and the water kind are very capable of moving both through water and through land. But Ellen was wondering, where would a water monitor lizard live in times when, especially when the pans and the dams and the water holes have dried up? And he's actually, I thought he was going to come out, but he changed his mind. He's thinking about it. Oh, there's our first rumble of thunder. Isn't he beautiful in his own way? Ellen, they live in crevices of rocks, crevices of trees. They can live within termite mounds as well. Look how he stops and sniffs each vegetation patch. There you can see that forked tongue at work. Long tongue. So they're not in any way reliant on the water in the same way the fishes are or crocodiles might be. They're equally capable of hunting on land, foraging through trees, eating birds' eggs or small birds. They're actually fairly ferocious predators. And in fact, a small crocodile, a newly hatched crocodile, would also be on the menu for these rock monitor lizards, or this water monitor. He's found a safe spot now. I don't think he's going to move too much further from there. He's hidden himself behind the bush. So that generally is where our different lizard species live. I must tell you, the atmosphere at the moment, this is what a true summer afternoon should really be like. There's this intense, almost electric feel to the air. The storm is advancing. And Janet, yes, to a certain extent, a crocodile is almost a type of lizard. And Janet, I'm going to answer that question, but I'm actually going to move off this dam wall while I do. It's very, very narrow perspective, so I'll answer as I drive along. Thank you very much, Rock Monitor, for that sighting. So, Janet, a crocodile, I said it is to an extent. It's not really. It is a completely separate species, and it is one of the oldest reptiles in the world, and is probably one of the closest relatives to the birds, funnily enough. As you know, birds and crocodiles share a common ancestor through the dinosaurs. So it is, you can sort of think about it as a type of lizard, but there's a lot of differences to it. I suppose it's related to lizards in the same way wild dogs are related to lions. They are actually fairly distinct species. We wouldn't call them a large species of lizard in the same way a Komodo dragon, for example, or indeed a rock monitor is a species of lizard or a type of lizard. As I said, closest relative to a crocodile, rather than being the other reptiles, is in fact a bird. And it is one of the oldest animals that has stayed unchanged for hundreds of thousands of years, since it evolved during the time of the dinosaurs. The other thing that sets it apart, a crocodile apart from the rest of the reptile family, is that it's capable of a bit more of internal control of its body temperature. So whilst it is still classified as an exotherm, and that it needs to go, for example, to bask in the sun, because it lives such an aquatic existence within those rivers and pools, it does need some degree, and also because it's a very large animal, it does need a certain degree of control of its body temperature. And we tend to think of them as disappeared there for a second and completely lost my train of thought, actually. I was about to tell you something very interesting about I was talking about the fact that we see them as primitive, but in fact their design was so perfect, the way in which they evolved was so perfect that it didn't need to change for the number of years that it's remained the same. My goodness gracious, I think at some point we need to start thinking about rain covers. This wind, rain covers, we're going to lose them. That's a very good point from Liam. Our rain covers are not going to watch us on. I'm more concerned about the lightning than I am about the rain. Although it hasn't started just yet, there's a yellow tinge to the sky. Beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Very atmospheric, but definitely a little bit, there's an anticipation to it. Oh, well, we debate the pros and cons of our decision about rain cover.
So we're back in the area around Gallagher and Vuyatela, and we've just come across a nice little group of kudu. You can see a little male there with his little horn sticking out. Tiny two little babies about to come through. Hello, little fluff balls.
But we are going to look for a design that's just run south along the drainage, and we're just going to look around Lion and Tree Road.
Look at that.
Okay.
Hello, little ones. So apparently the report we got that the Nkahumas were with the Birminghams was incorrect. So that has now led me to think that those impala that Lex heard alarming during the day might have seen the lions north of the lodge. So I've come back to this area and I'm giving it a good sort of second over. And I think the lions might be in there somewhere. But now I'm very happy these kudu happen to be where they are. So if they spot the lions, they'll give that alarm call and we should be able to hear it. It might be a bit difficult with this gusting wind. And there's a large storm approaching. I don't think it's going to rain just yet. I know Jamie wants to put rain covers on. I'm a little bit less worried. Let's have a look at it. I think it's still quite a distance away, but we'll see who's right. There it is, rolling in from the west. Well, on a positive note, if you're a lion or a leopard, tonight, if it's windy and rainy and dark, it's going to be a good night to catch something. So we're just checking along the fire break. These are one of these little tracks that don't get used too often. So I just want to make sure we haven't missed any tracks. A little bit nicer. The main road is just over there, but a lot of cars up and down the main Buffelshoek boundary. So on this hard ground, if we're going to get a glimpse at a track, it's possibly going to be here rather than there. Look at that. You see him? There's another chance to try listen. No, to the right. I think we're looking. Oh, did he move? Oh, he did.
Got him.
There we go. Woodland's kingfisher. So they're not going to be around for too much longer. They've definitely started slowing down on the calling. So they're going to be heading north in not too long. Trying to get some late evening insects to fill the belly before bed. just checking very carefully, so I do apologize if I'm not having that much eye contact. I'm just checking for tracks. I've got to check extra carefully with this hard ground at the moment. Dawson Pittsburgh is commenting on the fact that I said sometimes I have to remove snakes from our house. Dawson would like to know, ooh, how do the snakes get into my house? Dawson, they just slither in. So unfortunately, with humans, we're quite messy creatures. So we attract things like rodents. So, and then their snakes are attracted by the mice and rats. Now, a very pretty flower. Very pretty flower for everyone. Let me try find it quickly. Let me put that there. And unplug myself. This is one I've been wanting to show you. I have been asked about it before, or do we have any violets in Africa? And I just haven't been able to find a flowering one. I think I might have started a little bit late. So there we go. The wonderful, the exquisite African violet. Let me see if I can open it up so you can see it nicely there. And you can see these beautiful flowers. You got it there, Dave?
Yep.
There we go, the African violet. Very pretty plant. I've tried to grow them, incredibly difficult to keep in captivity. Not really captivity, even in a flower pot. So I've tried to grow them a lot, but I've never had much success. They don't seem to survive. So I've given up, and I just like to look at them when I'm out in the bush now. And there we go, that might be, I think that's definitely the first time we've had a flowering African violet this year. Oh, this is turning into ideal lion hunting weather. I mean, just look at how the wind is swaying all these trees around. And Dreen, who's on Twitter, saying those poor Nkahuma girls, they never seem to get to finish a kill with those Birminghams around. So, and Dreen, I think there might have been a bit of broken telephone. I'm not sure whether the Nkahumas were at that kill. I'm thinking there might have been a miscommunication. I've got a feeling the Nkahumas are here, just north of the camp. So I'm double checking again. The last tracks I had of them this morning were heading towards this area. So that's why I'm going very slowly through here. Just hoping to not see a track this time, because the boundary is very close. So I'm hoping there's no track, and I'm going to loop back down towards the dam. So dam cam aficionados, keep an eye out. Ooh, if this storm comes, I think it's going to be a beastie. Now there's, apart from that storm coming from behind us, there's another big one building to the north of us. Oh. Fortunately, people are waterproof. Unfortunately, our equipment's not so much. So, nice to hear from Sibusiso in Hammanskraal again. Sibusiso would like to know how is the strength of animals measured? Because he finds it hard to believe that a hyena's got stronger jaws than those massive lions we saw in the beginning of the safari. I think they just do it on bite pressure on, I think it's pounds per square inch, or kilograms per square inch. So they'll get the animal, normally a captive animal or whatnot, to bite into something that'll have a measure in it that'll measure the amount of bite it can bite. Now, but Sibusiso, what's that? No, not a lion. I don't think it's that difficult to believe that hyena's jaws are so powerful. And let's see if I've got that diagram here. Oh, sorry guys. Oh, no. False alarm. So, Sibusiso, I haven't forgotten. I just want to see if I can find you a diagram here that is quite useful in explaining this. Oh, let me not put Dave in an awkward position because this road isn't very flush. We're driving around at an angle like this. We find a nice semi-flat spot. There we go, that's a bit better. And let me just check here quickly. I'm pretty sure I did have it here somewhere. And Dave's going to show you the sky in the meantime. Sorry guys, I'll be with you in a second. I'm just trying to find, I don't know what I've done with the diagram. No, I think I've forgotten, I don't know where I put the the lion diagram, but I do have the hyena diagram. So that'll be a good start in explaining why our hyena's jaws are much stronger. Let's make sure we've got the right hyena. And there we go. So here we have a diagram of a spotted hyena jaw. Or skull, sorry, not just the jaw. Now, the hyenas, this cranial crest here is much bigger in hyenas. So much bigger muscles and tendons are able to be attached to it. That gives them this incredible power. Now, unfortunately, I've been a nana and misplaced my lion skull photograph. I will double check shortly if I've got it. But as you can see, also the way the teeth are structured. Lion's teeth, even though they are massive and robust, they're definitely not as wide. I mean, look at that. If you look at that compared to the whole size of the skull, how wide those crushing molars are at the back. And even the canines, they don't have that very sharp cutting edge on the back. They've almost got a crushing edge. So you can see there with this diagram that it's designed for that incredible power. I think it's about 900 or over, actually might be even over 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch that a hyena is able to crush. Now, talking about hyenas, and while I've got the diagrams here, so you can see how into the brown hyena. And you can see they do have massive crushing jaws, but you can see that the cranial crest is a bit lower. They've got a much longer face. I think there has been one brown hyena ever seen on the live drives, and I'm very jealous. I have seen them quite a few times where I live just outside Hoedspruit. But for those of you who don't know the difference between brown hyena and spotted hyena, there it is. There's the spotted hyena and the brown hyena. Very, very different. And then that's an aardwolf, which is part of the hyena family. Although he eats termites, the striped hyena, I don't have a photo of, is somewhere between those two. There we go. Hopefully that helps explain for you there, Sibusiso. I will remember to try to find that lion skull picture so you can see. Although it have an incredibly powerful jaw, it's designed for a different thing. The hyenas are designed to be able to crush those massive branches. I think, what was that? It's just, I heard some breaking branches in here. And the naughty elephant is around, so I don't want him to catch me unawares. Specifically not in this wind, so I'm just being a little bit extra careful. Gremlins and Jay.
Here we go, just in time to go through a very thick patch of mud. Here's a tip for all of you. If you ever find yourself in a safari vehicle, when you drive through a thick patch of mud like the one we just went through, don't, whatever you do, stick your head out over the side to then look for tracks. I cannot tell you how many times I've done that and come up with a face full of mud. I've also done it with buffalo dung before. The wheels spin them up. And you'll find with most vehicles our mud flaps don't last long in the bush. So the flaps that are meant to prevent that from happening are all but gone on these vehicles. And already I can still see mud flicking up out of the corner of my eye. That's definitely the last thing you want to do. Now, the roads have all been dragged since this morning's drive. In other words, a tractor has gone past with a pile of tires and cleared them completely, which is both very helpful and not at the same time. So if there are any tracks at the Nkuhumas, they're very difficult to see on fresh and pristine road. But at the same time, if we do see any tracks, then we know that they are as fresh as can be. And what I really want to do, and you know, I think I was right, Liam. I think it's going to blow past completely. I wanted to show you the rain on the horizon. It seems as though the sun's coming back out, the skies are clearing. All that fuss and no rain. I'm very surprised. That wind was just, I think, a little bit too much for it. But we'll go and stop and have a look at the view anyway. I have also noticed how much the rain has caused the trees to grow into the road. Seeing more and more of them dangling in and finding myself having to dodge them, which is very positive. It means that the rain came in time, so it didn't quite hit right at the end of the growth season. I'm also seeing a lot of inflorescence of grass coming up. In other words, the fruiting part of the grass that produces the seeds. We didn't see much of that at all before the rains hit. Whoa, bee-eaters. It's like European bee-eaters. Possibly thinking about making their way back home. When they start to gather in flocks like this, it's usually a sign that the migration is due to start. They're battling the wind at the moment, changing direction constantly. And back in the same direction again. Oh, even more of them joining up now. Yep, that sounds like European bee-eaters on their way back home, or gathering to get to the point where they're going to be on their way back home. Feels a little early this year, probably again due to this drought. They haven't quite had the rich pickings that they were expecting in terms of insect life. We just go through to Impala Plains and we can stop and have a look at the view. And you guys can guess alongside with us as to whether or not you think it's going to rain and when it's going to rain. become something of a game for the staff of Wild Earth, where we all sort of try and bet on whether or not it's going to rain and what time we think it's going to start. This is going to be an incredible view. Well, we have our first bet coming through from Jerry. Jerry thinks it's not going to rain at all. There's a lot of rain there on the horizon. Look at it, it's bucketing down all the way to the west of us. But whether or not that's going to get to us is a different question. I don't think so, funnily enough. I think this is all a storm in a teacup, at least on our side. Sorry, before we continue to discuss the weather, we just have to watch these poor ladies being chased by the impala rams. It's a little bit too early for them to start breeding, but nevertheless, the male's picking up on the increase in hormones. I don't know. I'm so undecided about this rain. What do you think, Viam? Do you think it's going to rain?
It looks like it.
Certainly feels like it.
It changes every 2 minutes.
It does. It was howling.
I think it's a front.
You think it's a front? Jerry doesn't think it's going to rain at all. I'm not so certain. I think it might. It's just a question of how soon that rain's going to come through. I'm hedging my bets because once we put those rain covers on, there's a distinct possibility that Viam and myself will convert into a hot air balloon and fly up into the sky, which might make for some interesting broadcasting material. Apparently, Alex and Louise both think it's going to rain in final control. This weather feels like it's going to rain. There's a very cool edge to the wind. I think Viam's right, though. I think it might just be a front. Look at how thick and dark these clouds look. But then you get gaps like this, where it looks like another lovely autumn afternoon with a full moon. Almost full moon. Not quite. Almost. And Diane, we're wondering about, as the wind howls across Impala Plains, you were wondering about how far north, I'm not sure, I think that's a bit of a fruitless effort, how far north those European bee-eaters migrate. The answer is all the way up towards Europe. So what is that? That's about 1,000 odd kilometers, 1,000 odd miles that they will cover in their migratory path. Our impala doing all kinds of crazy things. Maybe the weather's unsettling them a little bit. Let's find out if Brent and Nyala are behaving in a similar way.
So we got a nice big group of Inyala right on the... Quickly. Ooh. So I was going to show you, I thought they might... Watch. Yep. Into the lodge. I think there's going to be a few to follow. Maybe because of this windy weather, might be a bit safer inside. And I think we're going to get a few more little hops across. So you can see all the animals are a little bit more nervous in this wind. Oh, hello, big boy. You take it at a standing start. There we go. Easy peasy. lemon squeezy. Dave was chuckling much better. As we drove up, there was one on the inside, and Dave was like, how did it get there? I said, well, we're about to find out. Oh, next jumper approaching the hurdle. And we should start scoring them. I think the last one was quite low. I think maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. Let's see if these guys can do better. Younger, maybe a bit more sprightly. Oh, let's... And you can see how strong that wind is as their mane is being buffeted around. Come on, guys. Got stage fright now. Or maybe that's why they're not jumping. There's a little bit of a standoff happening. You can see the erect manes of those two bigger males. So this is how Inyalas fight to try avoid actual physical contact. Still thinking about the leap. They are very, very beautiful antelope with their long orange socks. And it's quite nice. We've seen a big male through to the sub-adult males, and if we keep coming across and over there, that one, you can see a little male who's just starting to get a bit of color, and his horns are starting to develop. Linda on Twitter says it looks like they're thinking, should we jump? Shouldn't we jump? Are they watching us? Linda, I think it's probably more to do with the big males having the standoff behind them inside that might put them off. But I think once the rest of the group decide to jump, even these little females, so that's a young female leading the charge at the moment. And there's some Franklin running along the edge of the fence as well. Look like Natal Franklin. Now you can see the one coming there, that's an adult female. You see she's a bit bigger. Looks like she might have been shocked by the fence before by her approach. And now, look at her. I think it almost looks like she might be listening to see if the fence is on, because she doesn't want to jump, she wants to climb under. Really interesting little bit of behavior going on here. Here we go. Now the ladies are quite capable of clearing the fence. They might have had, because there are some younger ones there, they might not want to. There are some ladies already on the inside. Let me just have a little snack first. Build up some stamina to make the leap or take the shock. Now, watching this reminds me of possibly one of the funniest things you can ever see. So on our family farm, we used to have a lot of warthogs. And before we turned it into only a game farm, we used to grow lucerne. And of course, to keep a lot of the animals out, we used to have a little electric fence that ran around the edge of the lucerne fields. And one animal we couldn't actually keep out of the lucerne fields were warthog. But they used to do the strangest thing. So what they used to do is they would walk up to this electric fence, a very small one, and they would start squealing before they touched it. So you would just get this squeak, 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 and then they'd keep completely silent and run through the fence. So they'd squeal before they got shocked, knowing that the shock was coming. And it was one of the funniest things you used to see. I remember just as kids watching it and watching these warthogs get themselves excited and start squealing, literally like they had a lion on their back, before being completely silent when they actually got shocked by the fence. Well, it looks like the Nyalas have given up on that idea, so we'll move off. Oh, hard to believe, but the wind's actually got even stronger. I'll tighten my cap. Well, I could get some quite spectacular views of the moon with this wind tonight, with the clouds being pushed at a rate of knots. There we go, look at that. Nearly, not quite full moon. So, if anyone popped off to get a snack or tasty beverage from the fridge and you missed the Inyala leaping the fence, here's a little slow-mo clip for you guys to enjoy. Wasn't that fun? The leaping Inyala. I scored that particular jump, I think 6 out of 10. I think he could have got a bit more height. Oh, we have a bird of prey. It looks like it might be eating something. Let's go have a closer look. You see him there, Dave?
Yeah.
Let's try and get a bit closer. Looking very windswept. I think it's probably a Wahlberg's eagle. But difficult in this half light. I'll have a better look when I'm a bit closer. Here we go, I think. It's difficult to see. Wait for Dave to zoom in and lighten it up a bit. Yes, Wahlberg's eagle, and it finished whatever it was eating, but looking like it's just really trying to just hold balance in this wind at the moment. Pale morph Wahlberg's eagle. Oh, just listen to that. You could hear him call as well as he took off. There's another call. Oh, where's this thing now? See? Oh, there we go. So, look at that. Riding the wind waves. Yes, squirrel alarming. Very brave squirrel to be out in this wind. It's amazing. You just see as that gust catches them. There we go. Look at that, riding that wave at high speed. Wow, that was wonderful. Well, Well done, Dave. Darlene in New Hampshire would like to know, do birds of prey show claws in their tracks? They most definitely do, but it won't be a very precise claw. Quite often you'll see the pad. Remember, those claws are curved, so you'll just see a little spot in front of where the foot was. Very sharp, quite deep little spot. So let's see if any animals have started to be sensible. The impala already are doing it. They're moving to the center of quarantine where they have a nice big vista if any predators happened upon them during the dark night. And some zebra as well. So quite common behavior, even on not too windier nights, is that the animals will move to a more open area, and there they should be able to spot potential predators a bit easier. And often you will find multiple species together like this, zebra and impala in this case, on the theory of more eyes to spot them, more ears to listen to them, more noses to smell them, and of course, if there's a lot of you, the odds are less chance you're the one that gets eaten. Darlene in New Hampshire, thanks for yet another question, Darlene. Darlene says they have moose around their lake, and she's been told that they can kick sideways to defend themselves. Do we have, quickly, we're going to run, let me just move the vehicle. It looks like all those impala are going to take off. Herd mentality and all that. So Darlene is wondering whether any of our hooved animals can kick sideways. I think actually most of them can. I know for a fact, which I know a lot of you might find quite surprising, one of the best sideways kickers is a giraffe. And they use that to defend themselves against lions. Hello, little one. That's a little boy. You can just see those tiny little horns starting to form. And here comes the rest of the herd about to run across. Oh, the zebras are even looking like they might join in. They're sort of stepping up towards the trot. Oh, but they stopped there. I thought they might be prompted by the impalas. Now this is quite interesting. This is a little bachelor group of zebra. So all young stallions. Oh, male impala running through. Oh, male's chasing. There we go. Come here, lady. Not quite the right time yet, big boy, but your time is coming. I'm just going to move forward. Oh, it's still going. Just move forward slightly. So Jim can come past us. Nice, really big herd of impala. Definitely well over 50 here, maybe even 60, 70. So they'll feel safest in this really windy weather out on the open areas. Oh, I just saw some lightning, Dave. It was a bit closer than I thought the storm was. I just saw some lightning on the horizon there. We'll see when it comes. And of course, being out on one of these vehicles with the big antenna behind you, lightning is a little bit of a worry. Just gonna go check on the other side. Who knows, maybe there's some more animals making their ways towards the safety of the quarantine clearings.
Don't cross the drainage line and check line 3. When you cross the drainage line,
Also going to try to see if we can find you some lightning. I think it's still a bit far away, but as it gets closer, we should be able to get some quite spectacular views, especially once it gets dark. Oh, it's getting a bit nippy as well. So, while we check what's happening on the western edge of quarantine, let's go see where Jamie is and what she might have found.
There is a gale blowing through the skies of Djuma, and the colors are truly ominous. It's quite incredible. It is beautiful in an awe-inspiring way. Very tumultuous weather. Unfortunately, what that means is that our hyena den is not active at the moment. There's no sign of any of the little individual, no little ears poking out from the holes, and no adults about either. So they've obviously decided that this is not the weather for them, and they have gone to ground. I did, however, on my way here, hear some elephants moving about the area. So we'll go and see if we can find those instead. Had to do a bit of a detour because our friendly ear-pierced elephant was somewhat in my way earlier, but I just turned around and went in the opposite direction. He's very much in full must right now and a little bit uncomfortable with the idea of people viewing him. He doesn't mind people driving past him, it seems. It's just he doesn't like it when people stop to look at him. I must say, brushing my hair this afternoon before going out on drive was a complete and utter waste of time. It is thoroughly windswept. Okie dokie. Sure, this color of the sky is quite terrifying. Although we are capable of staying out in rain, once lightning gets too bad for us, as you can imagine, with all of our electronic equipment on board, as well as a giant antenna that sticks up at the back, we prefer not to drive the vehicles around once the lightning storm gets bad. So there's a possibility, depending on how fearsome it becomes, there is a possibility that we may have to retreat and move under cover. Lightning is a very, very dangerous thing out here, not to be underestimated. South Africa is one of the highest lightning deaths in the world. It's something that I remember very vividly as a child being terrified of. Right, these elephants, I heard, were somewhere around here. Keep our eyes peeled for big dark shapes. They're also going to be incredibly unsettled with this wind billowing about them. Bethany tells me that there is a 70% chance of rain at 6 o'clock on our side and 100% chance of rain at 7. Bethany, it's getting darker and darker. I think we might just fall into the 70% margin between now and 7 before it hits the 100%. I know that Brent is on quarantine. He's lurking about there, just in case he needs to make a rapid retreat. I'm also heading down that direction, getting a bit closer to home, just in case the skies do open or the heavens do open, and it really feels like it now. Quite mesmerizing, also quite scary in its own way. Where are these elephants? Now, generally, elephants don't like lightning either. I had this amazing sighting once where I was sitting in a lodge that oh, hello. I hear you.
Right in front of us.
Oh, I see you. Thank you, Viam. That's embarrassing. That's a bit awkward. Talking about being able to hear an elephant and it's standing right there. I'm going to give them plenty of space. The wind is going to make them unhappy, as will the storm. We spent some time wallowing in the mud. It could be the same herd. I'm not sure exactly where Brent had his herd of elephants, but by the sound of things, they weren't terribly relaxed either. So we'll just shuffle forward nice and slowly. Hello, little one. But I was talking about this lodge that I was staying at. It was one that my work very kindly allowed us to visit. And my parents, friends, and family could stay there for free. And it was right on the Makutsui River, which is an absolutely beautiful setting. Wow. This is also beautiful. Hello, Ellies. Hi, guys. Lots of trumpeting, lots of noise. There's a very tiny little calf. Just watching their body language carefully. Elephants don't like this sort of weather. Now, this particular sighting I was describing, there was a whole herd of elephants. It was Cheeky's herd. We knew each of our elephant herds by name. It was Cheeky's herd feeding in the river below us. Cheeky was very much known as Cheeky for a reason. Oh, sorry, Cheeky was wearing the collar. It was Queenie's herd. That's who it was. And one second they were happily munching about in the river. The next, there was this low, deep contact call between the females. And as one, these elephants sprinted, and I mean sprinted, full tilt out of the river and up the bank and away into the bushes. And as that happened, as they got there, there was this enormous clap of thunder. It was just a sort of a normal flat grey day. It didn't look like there were going to be storms. No cumulus cloud build up. And yet those elephants absolutely knew that there was a storm on the way and that there was a lightning strike about to happen. They are far better at predicting the different weather conditions than we are. Curious One tells me that as a child she loved lightning because if it struck close enough, it would make their phone ring. I like that, Curious One. That's a lovely story. Usually whenever it hit around our house in Johannesburg, it either took out our internet modem, our phone line, and our pool motor. Very often it was the pool motor. I think we've replaced about 3. Well, my parents have replaced. Appreciation. I think the weather also playing a bit of havoc with our signal.
Just to the north of the camp. It could be time for that whatever those impalas spotted an alarm call before the safari to get up and get moving. So let's go have a look. Where's my spotlight gone now? It's around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, before I forget, Jamie did ask me to show you guys something earlier, the difference between a water monitor and a rock monitor. There we go. That is a rock monitor, so it doesn't really stay too much in and around water. They like to sleep in hollow trees. You can see very grey, very robust head. Very particular here. You can see how robust the head is. Now, above is a very monitor-esque pose. So both water and rock monitors will lie on tree branches like that. Just the water monitor will do it near water or generally above water, and when threatened, they'll drop into the water. Now, you can see the color difference. There is a water monitor, and you can see the head's not nearly as robust.
Hi, what is what?
So there we go.
So far, I was gonna come here for Pooza, but
Okay. There we go. Before I forget now, we're going to head towards the northern side of the Djuma Dam. Oh, Taxon, you're talking very loudly. And let me just get my spotlight out. There it is. And I'm not sure what's there. I think with that miscommunication, I think the Nkuhumas have been around here all day. But with the misinformation, we went searching in the wrong places. Hello, Naomi in Pretoria. Naomi says she's a little bit confused on impalas. When they leave scent on a branch, is it with that little gland on their face near their eyes, or is it with those black dots on the back of their legs? So both of those do leave scent, but when they're doing it on a branch, it is with the gland on their face. So those ones on their legs are called metatarsal glands, and what those are for is a hotly debated thing. Some people think they release a sort of pheromone when they are chased, and they kick out their legs, especially when they're being chased by a predator. So some people think it's to confuse the predators. I don't think so. I think that's really pushing it a little bit. The more logical explanation is actually it's for the impalas to actually group together again after they have been chased. So they've been chased heavily by something like wild dogs. They're able to form into a herd again quite quickly. So there's the two difference on those glands that the impala use. And oh yes, in this, Dave and I saw something while it was still light, but we thought it would be extra cool to show it to you in the dark. So before we go in search of possible predators, let's go look at one of the smaller inhabitants of the Djuma family. Unfortunately, tonight is not going to be good for owls and frogs in this weather. James Richard would like to know whether giraffe bend down during lightning storms or just stay in thick bush. He would imagine they would like to avoid open areas. I would imagine so, James. Normally they will actually lie down during big storms. Now let's see if we can find this little critter that we spotted in this beautiful clear pan or clear puddle. So last night we had a crab in the... I'm just gonna get myself into a position where I can... Here he is. You got him, Dave. Look at that. So we're hoping to see him swimming under the water at night after that crab was so You see where the stick is? Up. Where's he gone now? There he is. So he is under the water, but he's not swimming. There he is. He's swimming. Off he goes. Isn't that incredible? A little terrapin. So this is what we saw when it was light, and we thought it would actually be much nicer to see him in the dark. And now even he knows this wind's not good. So you can see he almost looks like he's trying to get under the algae to have a bit of somewhere to hide. Oh, there he pops up for a breath, but with most of his body under the blue-green algae on top. Very cool little guy. That guy's probably not even an inch long. Okay, well, let's leave him to his... Oh, he's gone under the water. He's swimming again. He's swimming. Sorry, Dave, that was my fault. I thought at the last second. Where's he gone? He's gone under the bigger piece of algae. Okay, well, let's leave him be. Tiny, he's probably about that big. Wow, this is great cat hunting weather. Dark skies, gusting winds. I wouldn't want to be an impala, zebra, buffalo, steenbok, duiker, wildebeest, kudu, inyala, bushbuck. Am I forgetting anything? Maybe, maybe not. Tonight, it's going to be a sleepless, high nerve night tonight. Oh, I forgot giraffe. Thank you, Final Control. So, also on, as I said, these nights, we're not going to hear many frogs. We might catch some of the bigger owl species, but the smaller owl species will be quite scarce. We might still get some ground beetles scurrying about. Formidable little guys. So they're not too worried about being eaten. Apart from their massive jaws they have to defend themselves, they have the ability to spray formic acid out of their mouth. So not much wants to eat something that's as nasty as that. So Dennis in Michigan says he knows I like photographing animals, but is there a particular favorite species that I like to photograph? He says if he lived in Africa, he would never get tired of photographing the wildlife, and his favorite to take photos of is zebra. So Dennis, that's actually quite a good question. I'm going to have to think about it a little bit. I would say possibly one of my favorite things to take photographs of is elephants. Now, that being said, it's because to get a really great elephant photograph can be quite difficult. The big grey lumps that take a lot of the light away, so to get detail, and you can get really nice close-ups of skin and eyelashes and stuff, but to get a really epic elephant photograph can be quite a challenge. And of course, the big cats is always wonderful. But I do also like my macro photography. So all the little bugs and haws and things always provide an interesting challenge. But yes, Dennis, there is literally a never-ending supply of subject matter while living out here. Shannon in Ohio and says, this may be a stupid question, but do we get roses growing out here? No such thing as a stupid question, Shannon. So don't fear. Shannon, we do not. There are roses growing in people's gardens, but they are not indigenous to Southern Africa. At least I'm not sure if there are any. I definitely know East Africa, Central Africa, but I'm not sure whether there are any indigenous to North Africa. I don't think so, though. I don't think there are any rose species indigenous to Africa. Come on, kitty cats, where are you hiding? All the little small nocturnal mammals, they also don't like this weather. So you'll find not unlikely to see any bush babies, night jars, well that's not a mammal, but genets, civets, all those type of things will stay hunkered down when this really strong wind is about. Of course, it affects their hearing and smell just as much as it would anything else. The only guys who like it are the truly big hairies and scaries. So your lion, leopard, hyena in this case. Ellen in Arkansas would like to know, where do elephants go in a storm? Well, they generally just will hunker down sometimes wherever they might be. They might even just continue to feed during the storm. It doesn't really affect them too much. Breeding herds with young babies might like to get to until the wind stops. They don't like gusting wind, but other than that, they're pretty unaffected by the storms, particularly the big bulls. So we've got a new viewer, a huge Safari Live welcome to James, who's found us on YouTube. James says, this is so cool. I agree, James, very, very cool. James would like to know, are there directors guiding the streams and representing, and what goes on? So, of course, mostly you just see myself or Jamie or James in front of the camera, but we, of course, have a crew of cameramen. We have directors that sit in final control, and what they've got is a whole multiple bunch of screens, and there will be all the feeds that are out. So today there are only 2 feeds, so they'll be able to see what I'm seeing and what Jamie's seeing and decide whether they should stay with the one vehicle or go to the other. And also that gives us the best way of showing you as many animals as possible and covering the most distance as possible. And then we also have a tech department. They look after the stream and stuff. The directors keep an eye on it, but when it decides to play up, some lightning, or the gremlins invade it, the tech guys are on it. So it is a really exciting thing, and there are quite a few people behind the scenes to bring you these live safari drives. No luck with those lions so far, or leopard. Not sure. There's definitely something that upset the impala in this area, so always worth a gander. I'm pretty sure if the lions were here, or are here, they're on the move already, on the hunt. Oh, excuse me, I have got a visitor down my shirt. Some form of coho. There we go, ho out. So we're gonna keep checking and looping this area. While we do that, let's go see if Jamie's got anything.
The wind is howling out here. I'm checking up to see whether the Nkuhumas have decided to take advantage of this crazy weather that we're experiencing to head out and go hunting. I smell I smell burning. Hold on 1 second. Everything okay back there, Vian? I don't know if it's the headlight, maybe. Let me just check it quickly. That's not something you want to smell as you're driving along. It seems okay now, though. I can't smell it. Should be okay. See how we go. Definitely didn't imagine that, though. But yes, this is ideal hunting weather for the big cats. The impala are on quarantine. All the poor things are clustered together in a group, obviously clearly terrified for the night ahead. Apparently Brent's also been observing the exact same behavior. This weather is incredible. And it clears, every now and again there's just this perfect open, clear patch of sky. With the moon shining. I'm actually going to stop for this view, it's incredible. Wow. Beautiful. Be full moon tomorrow by the looks of things. We had a long chat yesterday about just how important that is as a celestial body in terms of maintaining the Earth's rotation without it spinning out of control and wobbling. And then Jupiter, the bright planet that you can see next to it. That bright star. Difference between stars and planets, if you're looking up into the night sky. Stars twinkle, planets do not. Because planets are reflecting the light from the sun rather than producing their own. So much closer to us, which is why they seem so bright. As far as it is Jupiter. It's definitely Jupiter that's up next to the moon at this particular time of evening. As the moon starts to get full, Safari Dean, yes, we do notice a change to the animal's behavior during a full moon. You quite often get diurnal predators hunting or staying active for much longer if the moon has risen, because it provides so much light. It's almost like, you could actually, even as a human being, even with our very poor night vision, we could still walk around at night. We probably wouldn't want to, I wouldn't advise it, but we could if we absolutely have to. So the diurnal predators tend to move around a lot, or a lot more at least. The nocturnal predators don't have as easy a time in hunting. They're much easier to spot when they're illuminated by the light of the moon. But other than that, I don't notice any behavior in terms of the animals acting strange or crazy. I know that there are certain beliefs that a full moon causes people to act very strangely as well. Hasn't been the case in my experience with animals. They don't seem terribly bothered by it. They're far more interested in the fact that there is, for example, as there is tonight, a storm brewing that is out to get them. Everybody watch heads. Here we go. But we'll be able to watch and observe, and of course that's half the excitement of as night falls, is wondering what you're going to find, what the morning is going to bring in terms of animal movements. Will the Nkuhumas decide to pop out? Will they be able to make a kill? And I wonder as well whether or not the Birmingham boys might have finished that buffalo by tomorrow morning. Between 5 big male lions, it's definitely a meal that they could complete in a much shorter period of time than, for example, say the Nkuhumas might do. I think that it's safe to say They will be moving again fairly shortly. I was very taken aback by how thin that one male looked. And Raisa, you were saying that Scrapper must have been sick for quite a long time to be looking like that. And surely just 1 or 2 weeks of not eating would not have produced such a drastic drop in his condition. Raisa, I think it's probably about, I have heard rumors that he was injured, and I heard those rumors since I've come back to work, which is about, how long ago was that? I've lost track already. It must be about 2 weeks now. So I did start to hear rumors then that he was injured, but obviously we couldn't confirm it, so it's something that we didn't touch on terribly often. But I think it could well be about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks work of an injury. Not able to fight back, probably spending a lot of time just resting and recovering. I saw Scrapper just before I went on leave. In fact, just before Brent and myself went on leave at Cheetah Plains at 3 in a row pan, and he definitely didn't look anything like that. I'm not sure what has happened to him, if it was an injury or if it was some kind of an illness. But it is nice to see, however, that he is, as thin as he looks, he will be getting better. Now, Brent's found something interesting in the road to show you. Let's go and have a look at one of our nocturnal creatures.
So let's have a look. We found an adult antlion that was fighting with the wind, flapping about, and then just landed on the road in front of us. Now, you can even see how this large insects are reflecting in my headlights. Oh, next gust of wind. Let's maybe try to get a little bit closer. The insect. Still there, Dave? Got him? I'll move the light for you now. Oh, look at that. Is that a big one? There you go. Now, they have a very short lifespan. So more than often you find them dead. After they're finished mating, they just expire. I want to see, maybe I might be able to grab this one, hopefully. I think it has already mated. I think it might be in that expiry phase. Oh, not so much in the expiry phase. Oh! Off it went. Well, it was worth a try. Beautiful creature. It's amazing the larval stage live under the ground and form those tiny little tunnels to catch ants. So we're doing a slightly wider loop around the same area that we were looking for the lions earlier. Our bed says, cool, a lion sighting. Yes, member of the little five. So everyone knows the big five, the elephant, buffalo, raindrop, rhino, lion and leopard. And the little five are small creatures that share part of their name will make up a member of the big five. So we have the antlion, of course. Billed buffalo weaver. We saw a swimming crab while we were in search of frogs yesterday. And tonight we've got a swimming terrapin. Another one. So, speaking, his cousin is also a part of that. Oh, look at he's feeding. I wonder what he's eating down there. Is it tadpoles? Is it larvae of, I think it's mosquito larvae. Oh, isn't that fascinating? Slightly bigger. So Linda is wondering why the water looks so red. So I just need to lean over. And you can see his little legs paddling away there. And he's going down into the depths. We've lost him. So Linda is wondering why the water looks so red. Just checking for frogs, even though in this wind it's unlikely we're going to spot one. Linda, it's from the stain from the plants. So a lot of water, if you look at the Okavango Delta, I'm pretty sure you'll find parts of the US where that reddish thing, it's the stain from the tannins and all the plants that wash down into the river. So we used to have a joke when I lived up in Botswana, because that water is particularly reddish, and it is very good water. It goes through one of the best and biggest natural filter systems in the whole world, the Okavango Delta. There's another antlion. I think he's very highly mobile. Oh, there he goes. Shoop. Oh, all over the place. But, sorry, Dave. Oh, he's coming back. Now that is some seriously good camera work. Well done, Dave. Not easy to try to follow that. Sorry, Linda, back to your question. And we used to call that particular water, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's very 100% to drink. We used to call it Okavango tea or Kwando tea, depending on the Kwando River or the Okavango River. But it didn't matter. A lot of our guests who came to visit, didn't matter how much we tried to explain to them that this water was perfectly fine. Actually tasted quite yummy in my opinion. But that slight reddish tinge put them off it, so they would stick to bottled water. But I would definitely drink Kwando water over any of the bottled water brands any day of the year. Now, a very interesting thing about bottled water is that the amount of plastic that is created and gets washed up all over the world by bottled water. When most cities, the tap water is of better quality and has less funny things in it than a lot of bottled water. What have we got here? What have we got? I see an eye, and I feel a raindrop. But I see an eye. Where'd that eye go? I think it is a brave bush baby. That's exactly what it is. Where'd he go? There he is. You got him, Dave? There, right in the light. A brave bush baby. He jumped again. Oh, sneaky. No, there he is. I think I just need to, you're in the wrong spot. Oh, there he is now. Getting ready for a big jump. Getting ready for a big jump. You got him, Dave?
Don't see
There. So he's at the back, behind this. Let me just try. There. Here we go. Hello, little South African bush baby or South African Galego. He must be hungry to be out in this wind. Unusual. They are so cute. And jumping could be quite risky because the branch you're jumping to might move. Yes, maybe go lower. Don't want to plummet. Whoa, big jump. I can't see where he went. He just moved. There's a tree in our way. Oh, I've lost him. They are so quick. Oh, he's gone right to the back there. Oh, and he's gone again. He's gone. Okay, well, lovely little bush baby sighting. I didn't think we were going to get one. I think I might be reconsidering my plan and my life choices at the moment, as we're starting to get quite a few drops, and the tempest seems to be about to arrive, so I'm going to start driving a little bit faster. So we've got a comment from Nicola Austin, who, for those who are not sure, was one of our directors. She's sending her love. Her and Scott are watching all of us out here from Cape Town with Uncle Phil, and they say, we miss you guys too. Hopefully you'll come back for a visit in not too long. And they all said it's looking so green compared to when they're here. Yes, it has bucketed down slightly over the last while, and I have the feeling that it might bucket down again shortly. So I'm definitely changing my life choice. I'm not going to go on the long meandering route back towards camp. I think I might take the shorter route just in case. So a huge Safari Live welcome to Martin, who's a new viewer. So welcome to the Safari Live family, Martin. Martin would like to know where exactly we are, and does this happen every day? Does it happen in the same place? Is it in Kruger or a private game reserve? So Martin, we're in the Greater Kruger National Park. So we're in a private reserve where there is no fences between here and Kruger. It is called Djuma Private Game Reserve. We traverse over two different areas, Djuma and Arathusa Private Game Reserves. And yes, it happens every day from the same area. And there's a couple of presenters, and we do our best to show you the wonders of the wild on a daily basis. Sorry, I was a bit distracted there as a raindrop hit me in the eye. So Martin, and I see you've worked out how to ask questions already, so I don't need to let you know how to do that. But if anyone is watching and not sure how to ask us a question about what's happening on drive, about the animals we see, or about something you might have experienced on one of your African safaris, or even for a bit of advice on where you would do a safari, please feel free to contact us. You can drop us an email on questions@wildearth.tv, or you can use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, as Martin just has. What have we got up there in the road? Oh, it's a kudu. Okay, so there's still a good chance that those Nkuma ladies might pop up anywhere around here. Hopefully before the end of the sunset safari. Otherwise, I'll have to put my tracking shoes on again tomorrow morning and see if we can find them then. But we have had some really enjoyable stuff this evening. That amazing elephant sighting we had in Jamie and the Birmingham boys, all eating a buffalo for dinner tonight. Queen Karula continues to evade us. Not sure where she disappeared to, but she doesn't like to disappear, we do know that. She is an expert at zigzagging away, so it makes her very difficult to track. But it is always a special treat when we do get to find her. And I am looking forward to the next couple of months and all the cubs around. So far, Karula's got two. No idea how many shadows got just yet, and it'll be very exciting times when those cubs get old enough for us to view them.
That young man with beard now.
Oh, look at this! Look at this wind!
Oh, okay. Look at the neck. How are you doing? It's fine.
Big storm.
Looks very nice, yes. Okay. Relax. Okay.
It is almost eerie when you see the wind fluttering through these leaves and that dark sky. James Richard says, been holding thumbs for a leopard this evening, being ages since we've seen one. Well, James, unfortunately, Jean and I did see one yesterday, but we couldn't get any signal there. So I do apologize again for that. Ooh, suicidal scrub here, no, it escaped. But we will definitely do our best to find you one probably tomorrow. I will definitely get my tracking shoes out. Jamie seems to have the tracking of lions all covered, seems to just find them all over the place. So maybe I'll focus on leopard tomorrow. Not that I did it this morning. I mean, we tracked those male tracks for a very long time, and unfortunately he did cross out into Torchwood. So just an update on that. So it was definitely Tingana. They didn't see the other male leopard he chased, but so we're all going to have to just wonder, was it Mvula? Was it quarantine? Was it Kunyuma? Or was it a leopard? We don't know. Come on, lions, hop out. I think the rain is going to be kind and only descend upon us after the end of the safari. Hopefully it stays away for the sunrise safari. So it's more than welcome to rain before and after the safaris, just preferably not during. So it's going to be interesting to see how long it takes 5 Birmingham boys to scoff a buffalo. I say they'll be finished by tomorrow evening. Who knows? Let's see if I'm right or wrong. I think 5 male lions, they've got a seriously healthy appetite. And hopefully tomorrow we will find that leopard, James Richard. Oh, Jamie thinks that might be done by tomorrow morning, so obviously those Birmingham boys were hungry. And hopefully we're able to find that leopard for you guys out there tomorrow. Other than that, we shall probably continue to do wildflowers. We've got a wild violet today. I was very excited about that. Don't know about you guys. And hopefully if the wind's not gusting, we can start building on those frog lists again. And it will be fascinating. So we'll definitely try to spend some time around the pans after dark, let you listen to the amazing chorus of the frogs. As I said tonight, not ideal. Oh, raindrops coming a little bit more regularly, but from Dangerous Dave and myself, it's been a pleasure having you on the back of the vehicle. Don't forget to join us for tomorrow's sunrise safari. And let's go see what Jamie's up to for the last few minutes of drive.
Jamie is circling around quarantine, just making sure that I'm close enough to make a mad dash for cover once the rain starts. I have had a couple of drops falling on my head. So it is coming, and the wind howling. Just been smacked in the dung beetle by the eye as well, which is one of those things about driving around at night. And this wind howling like it is there's dust and all kinds of things blowing around us. Very almost ominous weather that we've been experiencing. Hello, Nikki. Nikki Austin is watching our show along with Spot, and she sent a big hello to all of us and saying that she can't believe how green Djuma is. Nikki and Scott, hi everybody. The grass is long, Djuma is green, there's puddles all over the place, there's frogs about. It really is completely different to when you left. I'm just thinking about our last fireside chat, where we sat in the middle of quarantine and there was not a blade of grass to be seen, just a couple of perennial plants, and that was about it. Now there's fresh layers of grass everywhere. Elephants still paying a visit though to Inga's. We've got a new fence and everything. We'll wait and see whether Brent or myself's prediction about the Birmingham boys and their buffalo, which one of us proves to be correct. I think probably they'll be finished by at least tomorrow afternoon. I think they might move on. As for this rain, well, that's a completely different issue. I wanted to show you. I think I saw a twin spot ground beetle. Let's just try and find out where it went. There he is. Dashing about. Very active little hunters, these guys. Oh. He'll be searching for possible prey. Now that yellow, an immediate warning that this little creature is quite capable of shooting out an acid substance that causes enormous blisters on people. This is not a blister beetle. This looks like either a twin spot ground beetle. Oh, there's a solifuge as well. Look at the solifuge. Where'd he go? He ran away. Solifuge, or a red Roman, as they're sometimes known. They look scary. They look terrifying, but they're not. They're very, very rapid moving creatures. They're nocturnal. They run about hunting. They're arachnids, but not part of the spider family, so not quite directly related to spiders. And this beetle twitching his antenna, looking to see if he can locate anything. A whole range of things to look forward to for tomorrow's sunrise safari. If it pours with rain tonight, all kinds of insect species will be out. The birds will be rejoicing. It seems as though the rain is starting to a little bit. It seems to be getting a bit harder now. I've had quite a few drops on my face and I don't have any rain covers on the vehicle. So for now, I'm actually going to just say a big thank you to Liam for all of his wonderful camera work. Make sure I dodge the beetle. We're going to start racing across for home, but as I said, exciting prospects for tomorrow morning's sunrise safari. Thank you to Jerry and Louise in Final Control. And most importantly, a big thank you to all of our viewers, our wonderful, wonderful viewers, for your loyalty, your questions and your comments. I hope that you have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, depending on wherever you are in the world. Fingers crossed for rain, and we'll find out tomorrow how it goes. Bye-bye, everybody. Cheers for now.